With the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible, we called him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Seabird.
Hey, welcome to Combat Vet Vision. This is my 200th episode of Combat Vet Vision, together by SitchRadio.com, Brian and Orange making this happen. Much appreciation to him. This office focuses on our combat and the organizations that I'm part of, Warrior Foundation, PTSD Foundation of America. Both those organizations helping out combat vets in a variety of different ways. Tiers, advisors, Rickie Gaunt on Gaunt Racing, incredible guy that just has helped us out in a lot of different ways in the warrior built world. His sons continue to race. He was an awesome racer, retired in around 2015, did a whole bunch of things with sprint cars, stuff like that. So Rickie, thanks a lot for being on my show. Much appreciation.
Thanks for having me.
Rickie, good to have you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Hey, if you could go back and just kind of brief your story on your racing story, because there's a lot of reasons why we're built into racing, and there's a lot that are involved in that. But go back into your story about racing, if you would.
Oh, sure. So when I was a kid, we lived about 5 miles from Ascot Park, and when I was young, we weren't well to do, we were fairly poor. And so my folks would take us all to the races when we were little, because it was cheap to get in, and we'd bet like a penny on the races. And that's kind of what got me hooked on race cars. And I was fortunate enough when I was, I think about 20, I got a chance to drive a race car. I'd worked on a guy's team, crewing for him and just donating as much time as I could. And he one night just gave me a chance. He said, it was a practice night. He said, "Hey, do you want to drive the car?" Said, "Absolutely." And it kind of took off from there. I got a hold of an old car and got it running, and that's how I started racing. That was in 1989.
And what did you do with your life? I mean, how did it go? You got into construction. You're about to retire from this construction, right?
Yeah. So my dad had a construction company, so it was naturally easy for me to go to work for him,
Yeah. And now you have two sons. They're into racing. Obviously, they're racing in the big off-road races. A lot of with trophy trucks, trophy truck minis, stuff like that. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. They're both racing spec trophy trucks and buggies and all kinds of other stuff.
And how did you meet Warrior Built? How did that come about?
So it's kind of a long story, but to narrow it way down, lead nav, Damian Clapper, which was a Navy veteran, he was a SEAL. He started lead nav, and we took a class to try to figure, to get proficient at using lead nav for the off-road races. And I think he was going to drive. Him and a couple other SEALs were going to drive a car that Roger Norman was helping him get in, and I think you guys were helping pit for them. And so I wanted to help because you guys you're not working with a big budget, and so I just wanted to help. And I thought it was we are huge supporters of our military, like crazy fanatical, and just any way that I could help people that have made our country so great and given me the opportunities to live the life I've lived. So that's just kind of how it started.
Yeah, that's a really cool time, because that's right at the same time that the Warrior Built actually got a bug at that race. Like we got the bug in Baja. We didn't test on it. We didn't do anything. We're gonna go race this bug in Baja.
Yes.
We put the stickers on it and set it up. We got the Navy SEAL team that's gonna race with the Norman car that's got you know, all these cool cars that actually, you know, they have this whole pit crew, they have this whole thing.
Yeah.
We're being filmed at the time, and the film that was going to be done was by Justin Roberts, who's a producer. Uh, he's a chaplain in the Army, and he actually shot this film called No Greater Love. That followed a unit into combat. They lost all these guys in combat. Then they came back. They had all these suicides, a whole bunch of things that were going on. That unit had the most losses in combat out of any unit at the time during this war in Iraq. So it was just kind of a really weird, cool time. And that film hasn't been post produced yet. It's still in post production. It's got to be put together. But it's another really cool film, a lot like Dust to Glory and some of these things. But it follows three or four different units, and it follows our guys down there on the motorcycle, the bug team. It followed the Navy SEAL guys, and then it followed another guy who lost his brother in Vietnam, and he wanted to do this race on the motorcycle as well. So I think that's just a really cool time to have had the opportunity to meet you. And I know, you know, ever since then, you've been there to support us with a lot of different things. You know, you have a lot of knowledge in a lot of different ways. We had to also get a trailer eventually for this bug, right? And the bug trailer was like,
Yeah.
it's this cool piece of gear that you really can't get. But you have a link down to Mexico, and hey, they put this thing together, welded it all together, and it had to get up here into the United States, get inspected, and do all this stuff to be certified and everything like that. But it's an awesome bug trailer.
Yeah.
It does incredible stuff. And you use this trailer for your son's races too. You have trailers like this. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's how I had the tie with Euro Fabrica, which is.
Am I frozen?
I got you. You're going good with me.
Yeah, and so now what are you doing, Rickie? You're retired. You're doing all this stuff with your son's racing teams. What are you up to? You're getting ready to retire.
I retired.
How far
racing.
away?
I retired from racing myself because I had, I had my day in the sun, and it was time for my boys. So, you have to be very, very selfish to be a race car driver. You have to think about only you and how you're going to get to the next race. And so, I'm an old man now, and I wanted to help my kids and keep pushing them forward. And so that's kind of what I focused on now. And I'm really enjoying it. Some guys maybe focus too much on themselves, and I want to be less selfish. So, yeah, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. They're good kids. They're great kids.
Yeah, and you've been amazing too. I mean, talk about not being selfish. I mean, helping our Warrior Built team out with all kinds of things. It's an awesome deal. And the night before you retired, I got to see your race a little bit. I looked you up, and I did a whole bunch of stuff. They call you Super Rickie, and that last lap that you were about ready. I mean, you actually passed the car in the last curve, in the sprint car, right? And took the win. And then you got out of the car, and you're like, hey, why did all these young guys lose to this old guy?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night you're going to retire, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was really, it was a cool way of putting it. You had a really cool style about it, man. It was amazing to see that. But you have not been selfish when it comes to helping us, when it comes to helping our combat vets and having all this stuff. I mean, what is your motivation behind all that? And what does that mean to you? And I know you don't get to see all the cool things that it's done, but it has done a lot of amazing things for our combat vets.
Part of me, so my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he served 3 years over in the Pacific, and it really damaged him. And so it affected the rest of his life, basically. And
Rickie,
so
are you able to still hear me?
Yeah, I've got you. You got me? Am I breaking up?
Can you hear me still, Rickie?
I've got you. I've got you, Chief.
Chief, if you've got me, we're good.
Yes.
Rickie's talking about his grandfather. You're a little delayed.
So my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he served in the South Pacific, and it really affected the rest of his life. One of the things that both my brother and myself, we were going to join a branch of the military, and my mom was completely against it because she had seen what it done to her father. So I think part of us, we're a law enforcement family now. I think part of it is that I almost feel guilty for not serving in some capacity. And I think that's what drew us towards law enforcement, is because it was a way for us to give back, because we didn't serve in the military. But, the sacrifices that our veterans have made, both in peacetime and at wartime, we are so grateful for. Me personally, it's an honor to be able to be involved with you guys. And I don't want, I'm really reluctant for any kind of recognition. I think people that do it silently maybe are a little bit, I feel it's a little more honorable, because, I don't want to go out and ring a bell and, tell everybody just, hey, look what we're doing. I would love to do that if I could get more people to help, because I think we as a society, we owe that to our military, for Pete's sakes. I mean, look at the country we live in, and it's not because we've got protesters out there, protesting other countries saying, we're the greatest and we're, you shouldn't be mean to other people. I mean, it's because we've got a military force, and we've got you guys that have gone out there and put your asses on the line and gave us that right.
Yeah, and I know, so many guys out there that I talk to, and I'll say, when I was still in the service, I was having a conversation with a guy, and he was basically saying kind of the same thing. He's like, I feel guilty for not serving. And I said, hey, not everybody in America can serve, but what's cool about what you've done is you've created jobs for other people, and you're a creator of America's dream. You've gone out there, you've created a business, you've worked this business, and you've given some great opportunities to some other people. So I understand this guilt feeling. I sometimes, feel guilty that I left my mid team when I got blown up. It's like we all have this kind of feeling, like we still want to be able to do more. And I didn't really bring you on the show to put your name out there, but I want to showcase some of the people. I want to showcase all of our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, and and guys like you, because that's who I have a real cool relationship with sometimes, right? With being able to call you up and just have a really cool conversation with you. And I don't always talk about what Bill's doing, but what really happens, I get to see it with my eyes. I get to see your results of getting those gloves. We needed some gloves. I mean, we were going to be one set short. You got some gloves to the guys. There's some really cool things that happen. Is a chain reaction to another great opportunity for some of these guys. And not all the time do you get to see it from where you're standing, but I get to see it because I'm able to see the whole picture sometimes, because I see the sponsor supporter, all these guys that really work hard, even the combat vets. I mean, we go out of our way to make sure this mission is going to happen. It's field op. It feels much like we're being in the military still, and we're going to go do this cool thing. But we know that what the thing is to finish the mission. And it's really cool. I know not all racers maybe feel like that. I think most racers go out there to race, and I think a lot of the guys do too internally. But the bottom line for us is like, hey, we're going to go out there and try to have a successful mission. And we've had plenty of missions that we're not. And unfortunately, we've lost guys and everything like that. But what we do is inherently dangerous. Racing is inherently dangerous, but so is the military.
Yeah.
The adrenaline rush is still part of it, and there's a lot to it. So Rickie, I just want to say thanks a lot for everything that you do, and feel free to add anything else to it. And I just I'm just really happy to have you on here and just kind of talk about the reasons why you support, and thanks for your grandfather's service and all this other stuff too.
Well, one of the things you touched on really quick, for any vets out there that are watching the podcast, the cool thing about the racing that we do, you were talking about a mission. Well, everybody has, just like in the branches of military, there's different branches that do different jobs. You've got your support, you've got guys that are mechanics, you've got guys that are out there, boots on the ground that are slinging bullets. Well, down in Baja or even the stateside races, there's a guy, we got to have a guy on a fire extinguisher. We have to. This is an important role. Even though you're not changing a tire or you're not actually driving the race car, it's an important role. The guy, helping the guy load the tire up or re-racking a tire that was flat, whatever it may be, there's a job for everybody. You can't have enough guys at a race. So if there's some combat vets or just veterans out there, and they want to come out to a race, not only with you guys, I'm sure, but my team, and a lot of the folks that I team up with and race with, we would love to have more hands because we can never have enough. And, when you've got somebody that's dedicated, that's served our country and knows what that kind of commitment is, we'll take them all day long. So please, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, Chief, we want a job, we'd like to go to Baja, we'd like to race stateside, whatever it may be. If you haven't got a place for them on your team, I can sure use them on mine.
Yeah, and that might be the case sometimes. We used to have enough guys that would always be like overloading, and be like, hey, I want to go. And now it seems like it's kind of tapered off a little bit, but we don't necessarily promote it as much as we used to as in the same way. But I love to do that. And some of the guys have actually raced on other teams, like Mark Doucette. He actually went down there and actually finished a race with Basito, and finished the bug race because our bug has not finished a Baja 1000 yet. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's actually really cool. And to be able to have another opportunity to go with somebody else. And some of the guys have even branched off. I mean, Nick Lake just went down and raced the San Felipe 250 by himself. Mark Doucette just got done doing the Biltwell 100. I mean, you got all these guys that are excited about these races and doing some other things, even outside of the normal way of doing it through Warrior Built. And it's just a Warrior Built force multiplier. And thanks for that, because that's so cool. That's so cool that, hopefully I'll get a chance. I'll go down there and race with you guys for a little bit too.
Absolutely. There's that little bond that you have, you go down there and it's miserable there for a little bit. And then you come home and you're like, man, that was fantastic. So yeah, come on out with us.
There's something about you got to sit in misery for you to really appreciate it. And you'll be like, you can't wait to get it done. But then when you get back, you can't wait to get back.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a very weird feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Rickie, if you got anything else to say, feel free to say it. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, they definitely come through me. But please put your information out there, whatever information you want to put out, and go from there.
I'm not a Facebook. I'm not very computer savvy. I'm not the guy that's always on his phone, posting stuff. But I do have an Instagram account. It's super, and then there's _Rickie, and that's on Instagram. I don't post very much. There's some race car stuff. There's anniversary stuff for my wife. But if I could say one thing, anybody out there listening, please help our veterans. Please help anything. Make sure we get it to our veterans, and not a bureaucrat, not just don't have any misgivings about where your money's going to go, and just support, just try to give back something to folks that have honored our country and done so much for all of us. We're grateful.
Hey, we'll take a quick break, Rickie, and we'll come back for a second, and we'll go from there.
All right, Chief.
Hi, I'm Mike Richmond of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with this message for veterans. Did you serve in the military? Veterans deserve world-class health care. You can help by joining the Million Veteran Program. MVP is VA's national voluntary research program to better understand how genes affect health. With over 900,000 veteran participants, MVP is one of the largest research programs in the world, with breakthroughs in PTSD, depression, heart disease, cancer, and more. With your help, the program can make more discoveries in areas that matter most to veterans. Go to mvp.va.gov to sign up, or call 866-441-6075 to schedule an appointment at a participating VA. You don't have to receive your care at VA to join. I'm Mike Richmond.
Rickie, where's your next races going to be for your sons?
For the boys,
What do you got going on?
We're definitely set up for the Baja 500. That's going to be our next race. That's about 6 weeks away. So we'll be down there, and yeah, I look forward to it. You know, we've kind of started doing it a little bit different now. We go down there for the week before the race so that we can pre-run. We always have problems on pre-runs. We always break. So give us enough time to kind of get settled in and get prepared for it.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of pre-running is very important because you get to learn the track, you get to learn the car, you get to break the car and then fix it to its ability. So yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for being on my show, Rickie. I much appreciate it.
Hey, Chief, I'm grateful for our friendship. And
this is Aaron Siebert. I'm lucky to be alive after being hit with. Hey, I'm lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round. You know, I know a little bit of technical delays in this slide, but continue to watch it. Still a great piece. And that, you know, I represent the PT Foundation, a couple other foundations, and I sponsor a lot of different courses of action and help throughout the profit world. But you know, this is Combat Vet Vision. It's really designed by opinions, guys' opinions, their lives a little bit, and why they're doing things that they're doing. And thanks for Rickie Gaunt for being on my show. Till next time, hey, I'm signing off. Strength and honor. Out.